Good evening. I would like to call the November 12th, 2025 closed session City Council meeting to order. I want to point out that this meeting is being hosted via a live stream on the city's website. I also want to remind the council to have their microphones turned on and positioned so that the audience can hear them clearly. City Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Clark.
Present.
Councilmember Lodge is absent. Councilmember Males.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Here.
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Let the record reflect that all members are present with the exception of Councilmember Lodge. And Mayor, we will need a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember Lodge's absence.
I'll make a motion to excuse.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Krupa, a second by Councilmember Males to excuse the absence. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Males.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0 to excuse the absence.
At this time, members of the public may only comment on an item appearing on the agenda. Please adhere to the following when addressing the council. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes or less. Comments should be directed to the council as a whole and not directed to individual council members. City Clerk, are there any registered speakers?
Mayor, there are no registered speakers.
Council, we will now proceed to closed session. Thank you for joining us. A report of the closed session will occur after the deliberations. Go ahead. I'm gonna go. Hello.
You could hide self view or turn your camera off. Okay. Do you have anyone on a list that you know of, or it would be a last minute? Okay. Oh, but so they could be watching remote. They could be watching it on the live stream. True? Got it. Okay. Okay. I can. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Okay, we'll be here. There's only one public comment period. Okay, that's fine. Sure. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Off chat or type or.
do it without electricity? Did it go
Okay,
dark?
I'm
in here?
lost.
We just
Did it go dark in here?
Good evening. I would like to call the November 12th, 2025 regular city council meeting to order. I would like to point out that this meeting is being hosted through live stream on the city's website. I want to remind the council to have their microphones turned on and positioned so that the audience can hear. City Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Clark.
Present.
Councilmember Lodge is absent. Councilmember Males. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Here.
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
All members are present with the exception of Councilmember Lodge.
And do we need to excuse him again?
Do we need motion to excuse him?
We could take a motion to, in a second, to excuse
I'll
his
move
absence.
to excuse Councilmember Lodge.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Krupa, a second by Councilmember Clark to excuse the absence of Councilmember Lodge. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Lodge. Excuse me. Councilmember Males. Excuse me. Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Yes.
Forces of habit. Mayor Pro Tem Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. The invocation will be given by Christian Tikas from All Good Things Ministry, after which Mayor Pro Tem Krupa will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
All right, let us pray. Tonight we pause, Father, to acknowledge that your word in James 1:17 reminds us every good and perfect gift comes from above. And we thank you for the many blessings you have given our city, its people, its progress, and the opportunities before us. So as we gather to conduct the business of Hemet, grant us wisdom that reflects your goodness. Let gratitude shape our leadership and guide our decisions. May we recognize the gifts within our community and steward them with integrity, unity, and compassion. Lord, during this season of thankfulness, deepen our appreciation for the work we do and the people we serve. Bless our council, our staff, and every resident who calls Hemet home. In your precious and holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in a salute to our nation's flag. Place your right hand over your heart and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will move to the city attorney's report from closed session. City attorney, can we get a report out?
Thank you, Mayor. We met in closed session. For item 5A, City Council met in closed session. Direction was given by consensus. For item 5B, City Council met in closed session. No reportable action. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney. We will now move to presentations. Our first presentation, I will be presenting the proclamation for Small Business Saturday to Nancy from Hemet Party Rentals. And Nancy, I invite you and any of your family members you would like to bring up.
We need the microphone, IT.
Right here.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I saw that. Oh.
Come on up. City of Hemet, California proclamation for Small Business Saturday. Whereas, according to the United States Small Business Administration, there are currently 33.2 million small businesses in the United States. Small businesses represent more than 99% of companies with paid employees and are responsible for over 60% of net new jobs created since 1995. Whereas small businesses employ nearly 47% of the employees in the private sector in our country and contribute positively to the local community by supplying jobs and generating tax revenue. And along with advocacy groups and public and private organizations across the country that have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. Today, the City of Hemet celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community. And whereas it is essential to support our city's valued small businesses, which create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our neighborhoods. And therefore, I, Jackie Peterson, Mayor of the City of Hemet, along with the Hemet City Council, do hereby proclaim the day of November 29th, 2025 as Small Business Saturday and urge the residents of our community to support small businesses and merchants today and throughout the year. Presented November 12th, 2025, signed by myself and all we council members. And I just want to say a few words about Nancy, and then I'm going to let her say a little bit. Okay, so I recently met Nancy and some of her family members, and they have a wonderful small business of party rentals. She has a great story where she had many challenges, and she rose above them all. And they helped us with our State of the City this last Thursday. Fabulous job. They were so hardworking. They had such a congenial attitude. She was just a delight to work with. And I said, you know what? This is a perfect family business to give this proclamation to. So we will have a little picture with you.
Okay.
Smile be pretty. And then I'd like you to say a few words if you would like.
Oh my goodness. It's such an honor. Oh, sorry. It's such an honor being here for the first time. And it was an honor being part of your special event last week. I was very nervous, but at the same time, very proud of my business, my family, because without them, I'm nobody. My son, Nathan, he's 16, and he works for me, with me. And I love giving opportunity to young people, young kids, because I rather them to be busy with me or any other small businesses or family-owned businesses than being out there doing something else. Who knows? I'm proud to say that he's a really hardworking guy. There's sometimes that he asks me to give jobs to his friends, and I'm like, I can't. we're not too busy yet, but we sure will one day. Very proud of being Hemet. In Hemet, even though we come from another city, another country originally, we love Hemet, and we'll do what we can to support the business, any business, small, big, or because we want to contribute to our city. This is our city now. That's where my kids were born, and that's where my kids are raised. So supporting small businesses, is great because we contribute to everybody. I said that already, huh?
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, everybody.
Very good. Thank you.
Oh.
Our final proclamation is for the United States Marine Corps 250th birthday and Veterans Day, and it will be presented by council member males to police officers Max Guerrero and Nick Morrow, and police officer trainee Andrew Morales. Gentlemen?
Marines front and center. All right. How you doing, sir? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I should have called Cadence. Darn. All right. This proclamation is for the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps and Veterans Day. Whereas on November 10th, 1775, the United States Continental Marines were founded by our nation's leaders to conduct ship-to-ship fighting, provide shipboard security and discipline enforcement, and assist in landing forces. And whereas for 250 years, members of the United States Marine Corps have served with the utmost courage in nearly every conflict our country has faced, earning a reputation as a formidable fighting force and a symbol of honor, integrity, and personal courage. And whereas Marines, whether active duty, reserved, or retired, embody an unyielding dedication to service and duty, and their sacrifice, along with those of their families, contribute greatly to the defense and protection of the freedoms and liberties of the United States American people. And whereas President Dwight D. Eisenhower called on all citizens of the United States of America to observe Veterans Day each year on November 11th as a time to honor all Americans who have served in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard, both in times of war and in peace. And whereas during the nation's darkest hours, the men and women of our armed forces have stood as guardians of freedom and beacons of peace, demonstrating unwavering courage, leadership, and commitment to our communities and country. And whereas the city of Hemet joins with all Americans in expressing our deepest gratitude for the service and sacrifice of our veterans and active duty personnel, and in particular, extends special recognition to the United States Marine Corps on its 250th anniversary. Now, therefore, Jackie Peterson, Mayor of the City of Hemet, along with the City Hemet Council, do hereby proclaim the days of November 10th and 11th, 2025, as the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps and Veterans Day, and urge all citizens to recognize, celebrate, and honor the courageous men and women who have served and continue to serve in the United States Armed Forces, protecting the rights and principles upon which our great nation was founded. Gentlemen, thank you for your service and for your continued service as Hemet Police Department officers. You want to say a word?
Thank you. Thank you. It's a privilege to serve this city.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Thank you, Chief, and thank you all.
Thank you, gentlemen. We will now move to public comment. There is a 3-minute per person time limit for all general public comments on non-public hearing items. All who wish to speak, including council members and staff, need to be recognized by the mayor before speaking. Please state your name and the item you are commenting on before speaking. We will take public comment for items listed on the agenda.
There are no items on the agenda, no speakers for items on the agenda.
We will now take public comment for items not listed on the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. We have several speaker forms, and I will call them to step up to the podium. First speaker is Robert Davis, followed by Roy Michael.
Madam Mayor, City Council, I'm here tonight on behalf of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You should have maybe one of these up there, I hope. Just to thank you for the city's continued support of this Nativity in the Park event, and on behalf of not only our church, but all the different denominations that will be at the park that night, in the parade, and just providing some goodness to the city. Thank you for your support of that. And I put a few of these over on the table if anybody would like to pick one up, and if the City Council has any questions going forward, contact me and I'll get you any of the information you might need. Thank you.
Next speaker is Roy Michael.
Greetings, my esteemed colleagues. My name is Roy Michael, and I've lived in Hemet for 10 years now. The last time I spoke here, I misspoke a critical statistic. When explaining the number of empty warehouses in Southern California, I stated 25,000. That's way too big a number. The actual number is 2,500. I apologize for that, but the point remains there is no need for future building of warehouses in Hemet. There is a growing market glut of warehouses. On that note, I spoke of FedEx cutting their entire workforce by 10%. These are the leaders in warehouses. This year, UPS last week announced that they were laying off 46,000 employees. Do you think they need extra warehouses? I don't think so. I didn't make a mistake on that number. 32,000 of which are drivers and warehouse workers. The writing is on the wall for warehouses. There's a music store at State in Florida that is part of the Shooters building called Music Mania that has a beautiful mural painted on the outside back wall. It's not that big and you cannot see it from Florida Avenue. I met the artist, a very talented man. Apparently code enforcement saw that they did not have a permit and advised them to paint over it. This thing is beautiful. We're trying to build a community downtown, and someone does something nice, and the city wants to destroy it. Please let them pay for a permit and continue our efforts to beautify downtown. We are a community. This is how you build communities. Police stats for October. Calls for service, 6,683. Firearms recovered, 10. That's 10 less guns that are on our streets. Stolen vehicles reported, 10. Stolen vehicles recovered, 10. I count that as 100%. Pedestrian checks and stops. Everybody's complaining about the people that walk up and down Florida Avenue. They're checking on them. They're doing their job. Traffic collisions, 205. People, learn how to drive out there. Traffic citations, 222. Drug violations, 61. DUI arrests, 21. Total arrests, 310. They're doing a hell of a job out there. As I've said before, I've matched them against other police departments nearby. Their numbers are so much better. I'm hearing a lot of chatter about rent control at mobile home parks. I happen to live in one. Riverside County has it, shouldn't we? And then finally, annexation. I only got 3 minutes, so there's no way I can go through all of the negative issues with annexation. I'll just simply say this: no. Thank you.
Next speaker, we have Antonia Mengler, followed by Vicky Kitchen, who's been donated 6 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Antonia Mengler, and I'm a resident at London Spires Mobile Home Park. I'm here tonight because the residents in my community have experienced 3 rent increases and soon a 4th to happen in the past 3 years, with jumps as high as 8 and 9% each year. Many of us are seniors on fixed incomes, and these increases are far above what is allowed under state law and our local rent stabilization protections. These increases are putting people at risk of losing their homes and their stability. I'm respectfully asking that this council to refer this matter to the city's rent commission for investigation to determine if increases are lawful and to protect Hemet residents from potential abuse. We are not asking for special consideration, but fairness, transparency, and enforcement of the laws already in place. Thank you for listening and supporting us with the residents of Hemet who simply want to stay in our homes. Thank you.
Vicky Kitchen, followed by Jenny Hess. Vicky has 6 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Vicky Kitchen, and I'm a resident of London Spires Mobile Home Park. I've been a resident for over 12 years. Like many residents who moved in before 2021, I have a month-to-month lease. For the 4th time in 4 years, we're facing another rent increase that will make it difficult to meet our monthly rent. London Spires is an owner-occupied mobile home park with a total of 165 spaces, and approximately 150 spaces are occupied. Ownership of the park changed in early 2021, and the first rent increase was 5%. For years before that, it was 3%. Since then, the increase has been 9%, 8%, 9% again, and we just received notice of the increase of 8.6% to be effective January 1st, 2026. The proposed increase will mean a jump of around $59 per month for most residents. The Social Security increase for 2026 is 2.8%, a dollar increase of approximately $33 more per month. Most of us are seniors on fixed incomes, and we cannot afford these large increases. When the ownership changed, 2 other mobile home parks were also bought: Jackson Mobile Home Park on Elk Street in Hemet and Pueblo Sereno Mobile Home Park in San Jacinto. I do not know if the residents of these mobile home parks have been affected in a similar way. What I do know is that there are rent increase limitations under Civil Code 798.30.5 for mobile home parks located between 2 incorporated cities. It states the management cannot increase the gross rental rate for a tenancy in a qualified mobile home park by more than 3% CPI, plus a percentage change in the cost of living, or 5%, whichever is lower, over any 12-month period. The restriction applies to rent increases occurring on or after February 18, 2021, and the code section is operative as of January 1, 2022. Many residents in California receive Social Security on a fixed income that is significantly below the cost of living in California. According to the UCLA Center for Health Policy Research states 30% of older students 65 plus in Riverside County don't have enough income to meet their basic needs. A single older adult who rents in Riverside County needs at least $32,928 per year to meet their basic needs. While you cannot help the seniors in London Spires be able to meet their needs, you can see the potential for elder financial abuse if an unfair rental increase is happening. Also, according to the Hemet Mobile Home Rent Review Commission, Division 3, Section 2-201, the substantial investment of mobile home owners in such homes, the people of the city find and declare it necessary to protect the owners and occupiers of mobile homes from unreasonable rent increases, while at the same time recognizing the need of the park owners to receive a fair return on their investment and rental increases sufficient to cover their increased costs for repairs, maintenance, insurance, upkeep, and additional amenities. The concern of unmade repairs and capital improvements at London Spires are a different problem that may be addressed at another time and/or another avenue. These rising rents are putting people at risk of losing not only their homes and their stability, but also their sense of community that is vitally important for seniors. They have a need to be connected now more than ever at this point in their lives. Many are without families, and even though they own their own home, have nowhere to go if they cannot pay their rent and are unable to afford to move out. I'm respectfully asking this council to refer this matter to the city's Rent Commission for investigation to determine if the rent increase is over the lawful limit. We love our community and we just want to be able to stay in our homes. Thank you for your time and helping to protect the residents of Hemet. I'm done.
Next speaker we have is Jenny Hess, followed by Clinton Hess.
He's giving me his minutes. He has to. He's my husband. Good evening, City Council. I was going to talk slow, but I have something else to talk about, so fast as usual. Jenny Hess, Unincorporated, Riverside County, East Hemet. Over the last several months, it has become a concern for some of us who oppose annexation that the city manager, respectfully, may have a questionable amount of power and influence with seemingly little oversight by you, the council. In regard to the proposed annexation, specifically on March 25th, the city manager provided you, the council, a presentation and asked you to receive his report, review his fiscal data, asterisks and all, and refer zoning actions to the Planning Commission. On that same day, the Riverside Executive Council provided the city manager a letter expressing concern and asked you all to table that presentation, which the mayor suggested to accommodate, and again, I remind you, was dismissed by a majority of the council. So that evening you went on to receive the presentation, and then two private citizens, apparently speaking for 40,000 of us in the unincorporated area, though we didn't know it, were privileged to further persuade you with a one-sided perspective up here. You then all asked questions that were not answered, and after what can be totaled in literal minutes, you went along with a plan to make Hemet the 4th largest city in Riverside. You heard many of us from unincorporated voice our issues. Unfortunately, you had no input from the city population, which are actually those who voted for you and who you represent, also affected by annexation. Some of us in the community continue to have questions for you about this. Did you all take an oath to your constituents or to executing the city manager's agenda, or a doctor's agenda, or a small private group of citizens' agenda? Did you know the entire aforementioned group were engaging on the topic of annexation months prior at a private residence, which can only be labeled as shady and obtained through public information requests? Why would you allow anything to progress on March 25th when your questions were not answered, still have not been answered? Do you understand the impacts of an annexation? Why didn't you agree to table the item, demand reasonable time to engage with your community and explain what an annexation actually is and help people understand if they even live in the city or county limits? Because me and my friends have answered those last two questions so many times that we cannot help but to feel that your obligations to inform your constituents and serve their best interest are not being met. Here are some more questions. Has the March 25th Riverside County EXCO letter been responded to? Who are the outside individuals involved in this development review committee? What even is that? How were other stakeholders recruited from the unincorporated areas? Have you seen the plan of service from the applicants? Will you? When? What are the actions on that plan of service? Will you do your due diligence, read every single page, and can you question the content or say no to anything that doesn't make sense to you? This one's rhetorical. Do you know how many boards and advisories and nonprofits and groups across the Hemet Valley that these 5 private petitioners are tied to? Not to mention their ties to many of you, memorialized on social media, thereby screaming conflict of interest. I'm going to close with the biggest question of all that none of you will answer. Do you support annexation, and are you ever going to facilitate transparent dialogue? I'll be up here until you decide to answer that. The community is watching, talking, asking questions. They're concerned, and we are being ignored. Less than 150 people follow Hemet Rising United. The 3-year-old petition was certified at barely over 1,000 signatures. Opposition is at around at least 2,500 known supporters opposing annexation, probably closer to 3,000. Remember those numbers at election time, but more importantly, when making important and ethical decisions that require integrity and that may impact generations beyond even your lifetime. I will continue to show up here to ask you to do the right thing. I'm infuriated seeing this mobile home park here with us tonight, because I spoke to Mr. Prestwich in that parking lot out there with Mr. Graham in July, and we specifically talked about one of our concerns with annexation was that the ordinance number 772 from the city of Hemet, which is not rent stabilization, it's basically protest. Well, let's see. I was 4 years old when this was written and released, and I'm old. The year starts with 197. I really hope you do the right thing again, ethically and with integrity for the group of people behind me. We talked about this. I was told that you guys, you admitted you needed to look at it. You admitted that you needed to do something about it. I never heard again from the email I sent you. So now I'm just more pissed off than ever. Have a nice night.
Next speaker we have is George Evans, followed by Julie Paul.
Thank you, Council, for the 3 minutes. First and foremost, I want to commend the Exchange Society organization for the flags and our mayor and mayor pro temp for being out there helping on Saturday. We also are going to need help this Saturday to take them all down, so it'd be great if anybody can get out there at 8 a.m. Again, I also want to commend the chief's report of the police department, the last meeting. Awesome to see the crime rate going down. 285 officers nationwide, 30 of them resulted in fatalities, have been shot this year alone. The number is coming down, but we need to reduce that even more. Yesterday's program for the Veterans Program, again, mayors, Joe, it was nice to see you all out there. It was a beautiful program, well done. I really appreciate it. Now on the negative standpoint, I did a photo shoot recently, a couple weeks back, just around the City Hall. And for the city manager to make $285,000 a year, I don't think he looks outside his window, because all the properties around City Hall are vacant, massive buildings. The parking lots are dumps. This needs to be cleaned up. Again, I am 1,000% against the annexation project, and I hope you are too, because the city is a beautiful city. Our community is very diverse with its different availabilities, and it should be left the way it is. Handle your backyard first, which yous are doing. Yous are making strides. I totally agree. Okay? Clean up your backyard before you try to take on more property, more land, and more growth. This town, to go from my house to Winco, takes me 30 minutes down Florida Avenue. That's absurd. What's it going to be when they wipe out orange groves and things like that? You know, these are things that we don't need currently. Maybe in the future, 10 years, 20 years, I don't know. But I am opposed to the annexation 1,000%, and I will commend you on the goods that you do, but I also will stand strong against the annexation. Thank you, and thank you for all you do.
Next speaker, Julie Paul, followed by Andrea Mars.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. What's left of you? I'm Julie Pauley, and I wanted to come and introduce myself. I am the new Government Affairs Director for the Southwest Riverside County Association of Realtors, SRCAR. So it's really my goal in this role that we're seen as a trusted resource as you all do your work of public policy, that items that are going to impact property owners, that we're at the table having the discussion before it comes to you for a final decision. So it's also my goal to reinstate the city manager breakfast. That's on my list of things to do. So I think I'll change hats because you all know me from my other role with mobile home parks, and so it's kind of ironic that I'm here tonight. Yes, so to my new friends from London Spires, this council can't refer a rent increase. The voters enacted the Rent Review Commission to protect mobile home park residents from egregious increases. And those are high increases that are probably worthy of review. But they need to turn in the petition and follow the guidelines to meet the legal requirement. This council has done its job by making sure that that commission is populated with commissioners that can review an application once it's brought forward. So all of the mechanisms are in place for that to be reviewed. So I hope that they will do that. I will also hand out my card because they need to be aware of the park owner funded MET rental assistance program. Nobody should be displaced because of a rent increase, and this is a safety net for anybody that find themselves not able to afford rent. And it does happen from time to time, especially with long-term residents. They can outlive their savings, or a death of a spouse can really cut a Social Security income. So that's what this program is for. It's a bridge to Section 8, and we want to be a resource to those folks. So I'm going to leave my card with them, get them hooked into that. So, all right, thanks all.
Mayor Peterson, Mayor Pro Tem Krupa, members of the City Council, City Manager Prestwich, and city staff. My name is Andrea Mars, and I am your new Government Relations Manager for Southern California Edison. Julie and I have been kind of following each other at a bunch of City Council meetings, so we're making the rounds. I know many of you have seen me and met with me over the past 3 months in my new role, but I'm here to officially make it official. And while I'm new to the role, I'm not new to the region. I was born and raised in the Hemet-San Jacinto Valley, and I remain a Riverside County resident. Prior to joining Edison, I handled public safety policy for 3rd District Supervisor Chuck Washington. I look forward to strengthening the relationship between Edison and the city and working with you and your staff to meet the city's energy needs. I'd like to add that while the government shutdown will hopefully soon be over, we understand that customers may be financially impacted right now. Any residential customer who needs additional time to remit payment on their energy bill is encouraged to contact Southern California Edison Customer Service Team at 1-800-655-4555 to discuss payment options. This can look like a lot of different things. It can look like deferment of payment, installation plans, waiver of the 20% deposit for extension, and no late payment charges. With that, I've left my cards with the city clerk, and I will thank you all for your time.
Last speaker we have is Judith McPherson.
Good evening, council, mayor, and city management. I have a question regarding, and I know you cannot say much, but maybe you could say yes or no, regarding item 5A, which uses the government code 54956.9 regarding closed session matters. When a person has named themselves in a possible lawsuit, or there already is an active lawsuit already filed, the name is there, and I may be far off, but I like to ask questions. I'm a seeker of knowledge. I'm wondering if that has anything to do with case CVME 2512310, filed on October 8th by the so-called whistleblower Lionel Martinez versus the city of Hemet, and whimsically used an attorney from a law firm called the Simon Law Group. There's also another one. I was wondering if it could be CVME 2508528, filed in July by a Crystal Solis versus Wildan, an outsourced company that we use for plan reviews, and has recently amended the complaint to add the city of Hemet. I was just wondering, or if either of those might have been relevant to 5B. Probably not, but just curious. Okay, thank you.
We will now move to receive and file. Are there any questions or comments from the council on the warrant registers and periodic payroll payments?
I have none.
We will receive and file the reports. We will now move to the consent calendar. All consent calendar items will be acted upon simultaneously unless requested by an individual council member for separate consideration. We have a note from staff requesting that item 16F be pulled from the calendar. Are there any members of the council who would like to pull any other consent items for separate consideration?
Yes, but I'm looking for it. Give me a minute.
Could we pull 16B, 16G,
16H.
Mayor, I request that we pull 16C.
Anyone else?
Did we pull D?
No. B or D? No, we did not.
Was that boy or Delta?
And did we do G?
Yes.
And I want to pull 16I.
I think we pulled them all.
Pretty much all of them tonight. Okay, we got them all? Okay.
Hope so.
Uh,
Can you read them back to me, please?
City Clerk, will you read them back?
Yes, it's approval of the consent calendar with the removal of items B, C, D, G, H, and I for separate consideration.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the remaining items?
I make the motion to approve all remaining items.
And a
I
second?
Okay.
Connie?
I have a motion by Councilmember Mails, second by Councilmember Clark. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mails.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0. Moving on to 16B as in boy.
So I have questions for Public Works. The years for this grant for any acceptance is?
It's expected to be fiscal year 27, 28 that we
So
would actually be approved and receive.
We're in 2025, so we're
We're
about
in
2
25,
years
26,
out.
yeah.
And do we have at this time for, say, in the next 45 minutes, we have an earthquake and we need generators, are we covered?
So until recently, we've had portable generators that we would be able to pull out to the sites and hook up and run the wells as needed. South Coast Air Quality Management District has revoked those permits, and so technically we aren't allowed to run those. I'm sure in a major emergency we would find a way.
Yeah. Okay. And if we're not granted, are we looking into other funds? Because this is pretty important for.
It is, and we've we added a CIP in the last update that was to do similar to this project, but we'd like to get some grant money to pay for it instead. So
Agreed.
That's why we're applying for this.
Okay, I just wanted the public to know that it's 27, 28, and you're working on it, and we're working on it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nothing further. Okay, huh? So. Don't, I move to accept 16B.
Any other comments on that one? Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I move to accept 16B.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Clark, second by Councilmember Mails. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Mails.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0. Moving on to 16C as in cat.
So Mayor, I had requested that we pull this because I wanted to request the council remove all references to code enforcement. The intent here is for the code enforcement manager to report directly to the community development director with the reorganization. And essentially the chief building official will serve as essentially a deputy director within that department.
So will we bring it back at another time then?
With your motion tonight, we can remove those references and that would address the issue.
Do I have a motion to do that?
Yeah, make a motion to remove all the references to, what was it?
Code enforcement.
Code enforcement and
Report to community development.
and report to community development. Thank you.
I second it.
Something like that.
Something like that.
We're good.
I have a motion by Councilmember Mails, second by Councilmember Clark, as amended, and we'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark.
Yep.
Councilmember Mails.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0. Moving on to 16D as in dog.
Yes. Where's our public works director? Oh, there he is. Okay. Don't disagree with the need and the procurement of this. Just had a couple questions on when it got down to listing the fiscal impact, that the design, the 5 or 4 numbers that are listed there add up to the 1.127, but you're only asking us to approve $993,000?
$929.
That's correct. So
$929,000.
all the other part would have been done through existing on-call agreements, but the CIP itself had a $1.5 million appropriation. And so we're just looking to award the construction portion of a contract.
Okay, so the other amount, is that being taken up, you said, by other contractors?
Yeah, other professional
And those-
services.
That's already been approved in someplace else?
It has, yes.
Okay. All right, that's all I wanted to clarify, because
Sure.
I'm looking at that and going, yep, those two numbers don't match up. So, thank you very much. And if there's no other further questions, I will move approval of item 16D.
I second.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Krupa, second by Councilmember Clark. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Males?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0. Moving on to 16G as in go.
So staff report has two of the two dedicated stalls at Gibble Park and 3 at Hemet Public Library, which is fine. But what about the parking lot down by Chambers and State, which would place it closer to some locations like McSweeney? Could we move one of those to over there so that maybe, because that's right by Dominagoni too.
So this grant that WRCOG has, it targets some certain disadvantaged area tracks. So I'd have to look and touch base with them to look at that specific parking lot. I think it's maybe a little too remote from what they would want as far as near charging and bus stops, and I mean there might be one near the school, but we'd have to take a closer look at that. I know there's other, maybe we'd like to look at options over on the west end of town too. And one location that came up, I'm not sure how many parking spaces we control at the police station, the west substation. But that's something that we could look at. And the action here this evening is really just to kind of formalize the partnership with WRCOG to entertain this program. And a formal agreement will still have to come back to the council at another
Okay.
time.
Okay, well, I'm on WRCOG, so.
I got one quick question too. Is this just within the valley there, nothing long distance where they can take
It
these
is,
cars?
yeah. So these are not intended for commuting. They are just mainly for around town
Okay,
use.
have we ever thought about doing something for the veterans? Because I know at the Legion, we used to get calls for people to get them to the VA and all that. We could sure use something like that for long distance to help our veterans out, so.
Sure.
So I have a question too, and maybe this will have to come from ARCOG, but the 2 dedicated stalls in the north parking of Gibble Park, are there charging stations there now?
There are not.
So this is not that's not a good location if they have to be recharged.
They're ultimately, whoever, the third-party company that WRCOG is working with will need to make sure that they get charged over time, or it'll be part of whoever's using them to go get them charged. And so they would have to go to a place that there is a charger, but they would be able to still go and pick them up at that location and drop them off, even though there's not currently charging available.
So outside of the library, the police station, and City Hall,
The city doesn't have too many chargers at this time, yes.
I was going to say, where are the charging stations? Yeah, it's kind of a charging station desert, so something we need to look at. But there's one going in down on Yale?
Yes.
That's far in from Gibble Park. Anyway, there you go. You answered my questions.
I move we accept 16G.
Oh, second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Clark, second by Councilmember Males. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Males?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0. Moving on to 16H as in high.
We have you. I thought we were going to have you, so. Before we start, may I make a comment real quick? This London Spires is in my district, and I would like to formally say that I would like to get the rental commission
going on this because their rent is going to be January 1st. They plan on raising it. So I'd like to make sure we get started on this and get something going so we can counter the rental, the rate. How you doing, Scott?
Good, you?
Good, good. I have a problem with this because last meeting, I spoke with that gentleman over there, Mr. Noah Rao, and I asked him if cabling was going to be involved with that $55,000 job of tearing down 8 cubicles and building 13 cubicles. And my understanding was, yes, it was. And now we're here again to add an additional $27,000 of running just Cat 6 cable, that's it?
Cat 6 cable, yes.
So we're getting charged $27,000 for at the most, $10,000 job? And the $55,000 for the cubicles, replacing 8 cubicles and adding 5 additional cubicles for the cost of $55,000 is ridiculous. I mean, if I had a chance to take my vote back from the last one, I would take it back because I researched this, and it shouldn't cost us more than $25,000 for the entire job, and here we're paying $82,000 with the addition of the cable. So I don't understand where these prices, where this cost comes from. And I mean, does this sound logical to you?
It seems expensive. It is, and it definitely is expensive. For the cabling contract that we got was literally on a co-op agreement. And the cost of that, because it becomes a public works project, because it's actually wiring that's established within the building, we do have to pay prevailing wage. We do have to pay a lot of things.
I keep hearing that over and
Costs a
over,
lot of
but
money.
prevailing
Yeah.
wage is like, it's, I mean, spending money,
Yeah.
an additional $50,000 total, I would say $50,000 that we're kind of just giving somebody for, for what? I mean, it's only a $25,000 job, maybe 30 at the most, if that much. I can't vote yes on this. I'll be honest with you, I can't, because I know the cost of running cable. I've ran cable before for 20 years, actually 30 years, working for other people. And I know costs have gone up, costs on material, but we're only talking Cat 6E cable here. How much is that a reel for 1,000 foot? $500 at the most?
That I'd have to talk to the vendor.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is, I just can't vote for this, something like this, knowing that it's an outrageous cost, to be honest with you. This is something I know about. I can only imagine other things that we probably overpaid for in other upgrades. But, I mean, I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a no for me, so.
I'd just like to say, though, if we're required to do prevailing wage, we can't get around that, correct?
Correct, yes.
But this is above prevailing wage. This is stealing. I mean, 13 cubicles for Cat 6 cable at $27,000. Think about it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, for maybe $1,200 worth of cable, you're charging $27,000. I can't see it, and I just won't vote yes on it. So I don't approve it. I mean, I'd run the cable there just to save us $27,000. Get you and me and myself out there.
But
It's
we're
ridiculous.
required to use prevailing
We
wage.
can't hire you.
Yeah.
We can't get around it.
No, we can't get around to get a company that's more, that's to what the cost should actually be. Cost shouldn't be more than $10,000, maybe 12, 13, maybe. I can't see paying
Mayor, if I may.
$20-something $100 for a cable run in a cubicle.
I hear what you're saying. However, prevailing wage is something that even if one person, if you were the one that were going to do it, the fact is the act of actually the doing of the work, the installation itself triggers prevailing wage. So we need to all local agencies, public agencies need to follow prevailing wages and pay those
Where do they
fees.
get that wage from? You're paying somebody $1,000 an hour to run cable.
Federal government.
It's ridiculous. I come from the public sector, so this is ridiculous. That's why states or cities are going bankrupt. So no, if somebody wants to approve it, that's fine, but I vote no on it.
Mayor, we didn't talk about this before the meeting, but another alternative would be for us to seek bids, 3 bids from different vendors to the extent possible to identify a lower priced option and then proceed with that lower priced option if that was available. So when we referenced this other contract, this was a competitively bid contract in another public agency. And so we're relying on that. But given the scope of this project, there may be a local, and if Councilmember Males can provide some recommendations
I'll
on
get you a
companies, we could
company.
potentially go get 3 different bids from them as well.
I just can't see paying this. It's ridiculous.
Isn't there a specific timeline that we're hoping to do this, though, during Thanksgiving when
There
most
is a
people are off?
timeline, but we have an alternative with I believe some Wi-Fi options. They're longer term, not a good cost-effective approach, but the cabling will be more affordable. But that could be a temporary issue, and we have the ability to leave some people in the other building for a little longer. So there are some options.
Okay. Well, I'm all about saving money, so if we can have another option, I would look at it again.
So, yeah, you want to just bring this back?
If Scott, I think we could do some research. We could also receive any recommendations from others, and we can contact them, explain the scope of work, and receive bids on those.
Sure.
So do we move to?
So we would just not act on this one tonight. Bring this back at a later date.
Yeah, sorry, Scott.
I think part of the focus here, though, let's see, the action was to authorize the Administrative Services Director to establish a supplemental appropriation. So you could do that or reduce that $27,000 and then not award the contract, but provide the motion to utilize those funds. So what we didn't do is budget this at the beginning of the year, anticipating that this would happen. So that appropriation's not in the budget. So that's one act you could do today, or we could bring that back at the December 9th meeting.
I'd say bring it back, and I'll have you 3 vendors that'll come and do it for the price that it should be done for. But it's just ridiculous. Even the $55,000 and tearing down 8 cubicles and putting 13 up is ridiculous. But I thought cable was included with it, so I kind of, So let's bring it back.
I need a motion for that?
Now, I make a motion to bring it back to the next city council meeting.
I second it.
Thank you, Scott.
I have a motion by Councilmember Males, second by Councilmember Clark. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Males.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0. Moving on to 16I.
I just had one question and a little clarification on this. Usually if you lease a vehicle, it goes back to the dealer. And with this, it says that we would receive some money. So how is it that the city can receive money if it's leased?
Madam Mayor, so myself and department staff have been working with Enterprise Fleet Management since July. Ultimately, the goal is to save money while purchasing newer vehicles with better technology and safety features. We've been working with Dan Skagen, who has ultimately got a presentation ready that he can provide you.
Okay, great.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city staff. Thank you for having me here. We appreciate the opportunity to walk you through what we can do. That is a great question. I can answer that now or throughout the presentation, whichever you'd prefer.
Do your presentation and it'll answer it.
Okay, great. I've been with Enterprise for 30 years and helped a lot of municipalities and special districts over those years implement this program right here that you're going to see in just a minute. Locally, we have 288 government clients in Southern California. Some of them you may recognize here on this list: City of Corona, City of Beaumont, and City of Marietta, and we also work with the City of San Jacinto. You guys are members of Sourcewell, and we won the Sourcewell RFP for fleet management. So that's the contract or the due diligence that you would leverage, or that all these cities are using to implement this program. What you're seeing right here is a graph, a life cycle graph of the best time to replace a vehicle while the resale value is still high, and while maintenance expenses and fuel expenses are still lower. Today, the non-enforcement fleet is over on that bigger circle over there. Much older vehicles, much lower resale value, and higher maintenance and fuel expenses. So I'm gonna show you here in just a minute what it looks like in terms of the financial impact it'll make by cycling vehicles at a better time when it makes more economic sense, and answer your question about the lease. This is the open-end equity lease. And this is a sample of a $40,000 vehicle. And as you rightly said earlier, in a typical like dealership lease model, they own the vehicle. That's their vehicle. You return it back to them. And if there's any equity in that vehicle, it all belongs to the dealership. This is not that kind of lease. This is an ownership lease. It's really just a finance to a balance, okay? And so what you're seeing here is a $40,000 vehicle, and the benefit to Hemet is that they're paying $30,000 towards the ownership of this vehicle. What that means is there's $10,000 of cash flow per vehicle when you use this mechanism to finance a vehicle. It's really just a finance to a balance of $10,000. The vehicle, in this example, forgive me, my eyes aren't able to see that slide from here. The unpaid balance on this lease is $10,000. At 5 years, this vehicle is worth $22,500. What that means to the city of Hemet is that $12,500 of equity, that's your money, comes back to the city of Hemet when we sell that vehicle on your behalf. There are no mileage charges, no wear and tear charges. This is the mechanism that a lot of cities are using to improve cash flow and get a lot more vehicles with a less capital. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. This is what your fleet looks like today. And what you're seeing here is an average age of non-enforcement vehicles that's 10 years old. Some vehicles over 20 years old. And so what we're recommending is not to hold on to vehicles for that long, but to cycle them sooner. And what does that impact look like? Over the last year, I've worked with Lieutenant Paez and his team. We've analyzed the numbers, and this is a spreadsheet we've come up with and put together. And what this is saying is that the 10-year impact by partnering with Enterprise is a savings, a total impact of $271,000. And the reason that is because we're buying the vehicle, we're going to order it directly from the factory on behalf of the city of Hemet, leveraging the Sourcewell contract. We're going to plug in the open-end equity lease model, which allows you to get a lot more vehicles for a lot less capital. And then we're going to move up that cycle from 20 years to 5 years. By selling the vehicle at 5 years, it's worth a lot more money. We're going to take that vehicle to market on your behalf. We're going to sell that for you. Keep in mind, we sell about 500,000 to 1 million vehicles a year. And we're selling those vehicles for about $2,000 to $3,000 over Black Book. That's all Hemet's money. So if we can get a lot more money on the back end and preserve the capital with the open and equity lease, that's how we get to that $371,000 savings.
You don't get a commission on that sales that you make?
No, none of it.
So your money's up front then? The 30,000 that you mentioned, that's, or am I wrong?
Wait, say that one more time.
Okay, so where does your money come in? You got to make something in order to.
Yeah, of course. When we sell the vehicle, there's a $400 service charge. That's part of our profit. There's interest expense on the finance of vehicle. That's part of our profit. And there's holdback money on the vehicle when we order it from the factory, and that's part of our profit. So there's 3 areas there.
Okay.
Yeah. A byproduct of cycling these vehicles sooner is that they'll have a lot more safety. You'll have a much safer and reliable fleet. And what you're seeing here are some statistics on your current fleet today, which lacks a lot of those safety features. So in summary, a partnership with Enterprise will help lower the vehicle budget year in and year out and provide a much fresher fleet that's safer and more reliable. Any questions?
Yes. Can you go back 2 slides?
Yes.
It was where you had all the numbers right there.
Yeah.
Where did I see that? One of them, I saw the annual mileage of 6,000 miles.
Yeah, that's correct. When you look at the non-enforcement vehicles, and the previous slide analyzes that as well. The average annual mileage is 6,000, and that's a great thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because what that means is, and that's pretty standard for most municipalities. At 5 years, that vehicle has very low mileage and is worth a lot of money, and that's the time to sell it. When you hold on to it for 20 years, that odometer doesn't mean anything. It's just an old vehicle, and it's worth next to nothing, really, on the market. So. Yeah.
So these are really low mileage vehicles. I mean, in 5 years you have 6,000, but
Yeah.
this is 6,000 annual, so that's what, 30,000 miles?
Exactly. And so today you're not doing that. You're holding on to the vehicle for 20
yeah,
years.
I've seen some of them,
And so,
especially the Toyota.
yeah, even more. A vehicle at 5 years, which is 30,000 miles, sells for a lot of money, $25,000.
Yeah.
So that's really the fund. That's where all that equity comes back to the city and helps drive future replacements forward, because you're leveraging all that equity. But when you hold on to it for so long, all that's gone, and you're starting all over again. And so that's why this strategy works so well for municipalities.
Okay.
Police stations you work with, do they allow their police officers to take cars home? Oh, excuse, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Every agency, and this is your vehicle, so
Right.
you guys have all rights of ownership on this. So whatever policy and aftermarket you guys want to put on it, it's all up to you guys.
Does that add additional miles, though, to your chart, or?
Well, what we took was the odometer on the existing fleet, and we
Okay.
backed into the annual mileage using that. So
Okay,
those,
on
those
the
strap
fleet we have
patterns-
now, so
yeah,
you calculated the numbers through that then. Okay, thank you.
exactly.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you for your presentation. That gave us a lot more information, so thank you.
Thank you.
That was good, so. I would make a motion to approve this.
I will second that.
I have a motion by Mayor Peterson, second by Mayor Pro Tem Krupa. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Males.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0.
We will now move to the discussion action item. Can we have a report from staff on item 17A?
So, let's see here. So council, the item will be popped up here pretty quick. This is our sustainability and staffing. It kind of has reverted to a few different names. Right now, what we're looking to call this is the 10-year Information Technology Capital Replacement Plan. This is kind of something that's been worked on for several years. This is the timeline in doing this will be kind of explained in the presentation that we're about to perform. So this doesn't reflect on the Client First folks that we have up here today. This is myself, obviously, Scott Underwood, IT Manager. I have Tom Jacobson here with Client First, and also we have our Administrative Services Director, Tiffany Barnett. So we'll all be providing portions of this for the review of the council. What I'll go ahead and do, because the majority of this work has been done by Client First, I want you to kind of see it from their perspective, and then we'll be answering questions as we go.
Mayor and council, I also want to augment those comments by letting you know that this was something on our fiscal year 23-24 work plan. And so while we know that our IT staff has been extremely busy, and today's presentation will reinforce that, it's also an example that we didn't forget. We didn't overlook the fact that this was an item that you requested, and we're bringing it to you now.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, my name is Tom Jacobson. I'm a partner with Client First Technology Consulting. I last presented to you in 2023 with the purchase for the server replacement plan. We did the procurement process for that particular project. Today, I'm going to go through a little bit of a background on us, talk about sustainability planning, show you benchmarks related to financials, spending for IT versus for other municipalities, and staffing, and then show you some staffing comparisons and answer your questions. Happy to answer your questions throughout. That's me. I think I was younger then. And Kendall Kraut, who's a business applications consultant, he does the statistics and benchmarks for our firm. A little bit about Client First. We're a local government focused consulting firm. We have one not-for-profit client, and it's one of my favorite not-for-profits. 99% of our clients are local government, 60% are in California, and over half are, probably 75%, are cities. We've done a lot of projects over the last 20 years that we've been in business. I guess all of us use nearby cities as reference material. We've worked for Corona, Cathedral City, Palm Desert, others around the area, and all over the state. Scott?
Yep, I'm up. So this portion of the presentation will be an IT update. We've been pretty busy, obviously, with all the work that we've been doing. This slide here depicts kind of what we needed to start out with versus what we're working on now. Obviously, as TJ had already told you about, we did firewalls and servers. Those were kind of the first core items that needed to be done. Then we moved into the Office 365, which was kind of brought on primarily by COVID. But it was also, that was kind of the move that most agencies have been making towards cloud-based technologies, simply because a lot of the different applications out there are moving in that same direction. To get that synergy to work those together is important. Then what we did is we moved, obviously, to the telephone system replacement. That included networking. So that was a replacement of networking. It was a replacement of our wireless system. And it also had to do with a lot of cable remediation, copper, fiber, things like that, to make sure that the telephone system that we were putting in would be reliable and stable for years to come. So not just a once right now, but for several years to come. So something that we can grow into. Then the very next item.
Is that a cloud-based system, the telephone system, or is that something in-house?
Yes, it is a cloud-based system.
Okay.
It's ran by Ring Central.
Okay.
So the whole idea behind that is to, in the event we do have some kind of a natural or man-made disaster, that system will be survived. It will continue to operate even if we have critical outages here.
Do we plan on going to data centers or going to the cloud anytime soon with our servers?
Right now, we're kind of in limbo of that. We have a solution called DRAS that allows us to, in the event we have a major problem here at City of Hemet, we can hit the button and move that and transition that environment to the cloud. We do have other pieces of the network that are currently on the cloud, but we're still kind of in a hybrid state. And that's where most agencies are. Most agencies have not moved completely to the cloud yet. So it's kind of, we're testing the waters, but we're not quite there.
Thank you.
So best of both. The last thing that obviously we've been working on is the ArcGIS upgrade and Laserfiche. So that's your document imaging. That is anything that can actually provide you a map or reference material for the projects that we've been working on for all departments, not just IT. And then on the very top of that slide, so basically the part of the iceberg that you can actually see, those are the projects that we're currently working on right now. So that's going to be the council chambers audiovisual. It's going to be the EPL or permitting licensing. That's also the EERP replacement. So those are both Tyler products. One again for licensing, the other one mainly for the financials. The other one is the citywide computer replacement. So those are all in work and being worked on as we speak.
And which will be finalized when?
The computer replacement?
Well, not the computer, the ERP and whatever systems they use and for permitting and so on.
Let's see here. That is on this next slide.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. And that kind of breaks that down. This one actually is simply the work that we've been working on. The following slide will actually be the one that actually shows the current in-work projects. So these are completed initiatives, and it kind of starts that process, or at least shows that through that iceberg. So we started most of these, the firewall replacement and all that, in about 23 fiscal year, and then kind of moved our way up. So the office replacement, server replacement, GIS, there's some web redesign, there was some networking and firewalling work that needed to be done here at the library. We're also looking at the CIP, and that's the other differentiation is between these initiatives. If they're a CIP, we called out the CIP project number. If they are an SP, that's actually a strategic plan item. So that was something that council voted for. And high, medium priority, most of these fell into that high, medium priority, unfortunately, but we got them done. So the next slide is the one that I know Joe was referencing, and that's the initiatives that we're currently working on right now. And that is the EERP and EPL. The EERP is the financial system. We're still working on the portion that's cashiering and the portion that is HR. Those items still need to be completed. We're looking for the completion date of the end of this fiscal year for those. With the EPL, that's your licensing, it's building department, code enforcement, those. That system is looking right now to be coming online in February.
Oh, okay.
So that's soon. Obviously, the council chamber item, I know that's one that's big for everyone here. That one is going to, the core work of that is starting in December 1st. So once that starts, we've given the company 30 days to complete. So 30 days. So we're looking to make sure that that does happen and hold their feet to the fire and make sure they are accountable to that. The other is computer replacement. Obviously, we want to try to migrate the people that can to a laptop. Those are primarily people that are not eligible for overtime, so it's going to be directors, managers, etc. Move those folks to laptops, migrate all computers to Windows 11, and we're anticipating that project completion by the end of this month. And then finally, cybersecurity improvements. dark web scanning and multi-factor authentication. That's the codes that you wind up seeing that they tend to send you as a text or an email and things like that. Unfortunately, those are now a requirement. And those are looking to be completed by the end of this month as well. I'll pass it back to Tom.
Any questions on the status?
My only question is, you have what, 4 employees?
Yes, 4 employees.
How do you get it all done?
It's very difficult.
Oh,
It
I
is.
can imagine.
It truly is, and we're having to, reset plates constantly.
Do you have a lot of desktop calls for people that are having issues or anything where you have to?
Yes, we do. We've seen that kind of uptick.
What's your average on that?
On average, for every day, we're looking, we went from about 3 to 4 years ago, we were averaging about 4 to 5. Currently, to date, we're averaging anywhere between 10 and 12. So
Okay.
10 and 12 for the business days that we're here. On Fridays, on the weekends, it's usually 2 or 3. So it kind of dries up a little bit, but not
Yeah.
much.
Mhm.
But when the bulk of those staff come back on Monday, it comes right at us again.
Okay. And how do you stagger your people? I mean, you work Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday. You have two working Monday through Thursday and 2 working Tuesday through Friday, or?
No, what we have is we have all of our staff right now currently working Monday through Thursday. We did augment, we did have 1 staff member, myself, working Tuesday through Friday. Unfortunately, when we do that, it splits up the department where we only have 3 solid days a week to be able to work on larger
Right.
projects. So, and because we're doing a lot of those key initiatives, trying to get those things done, that's kind of slowed those projects down.
Is somebody on call on Friday then, if
They
there's
are.
problems? Okay.
Yes, and that's been that way since COVID,
Okay.
and longer. So we always have somebody on call, so when the police department can't log in at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're on it.
Good, okay.
And that also holds true for the library. They are open Saturdays and Fridays as well, so it covers them as well as public safety.
Alrighty, I'm going to go through some financial benchmarking information here. I did want to say one thing, though. I was last here in 2023, and I too am impressed with all the work that Scott's team has gotten done. When I came back and I looked through the cybersecurity tool set that was in place, I was really pleased to see the tools that were in use, and there are very few gaps in that particular field. So Scott's team has done an excellent job over the last 2+ years. Okay, what we do a lot of technology master planning, and with those plans, we gather financial information related to spend on enterprise funds plus other technology funds, anything that Scott's team would support. And we compare that to the IT budget for each client, and we generate a really cool graph, which is the next slide. And we use 27 agencies. Over on the, I guess it's right, is the benchmark. Almost all agencies we work with are under the 6% number. Maybe we've had one in the last 5 years over 6%. 4% is a recommended low. We do have quite a few that are under 4%, and you can tell. So the benchmark is 4.24% of operating expenditures for the city, and you folks are comfortably in that range, just above the 4.24. So by this measure, your spending is adequate. Next slide. I want to talk about how this project got started and what we really started to accomplish. The purpose of the sustainability plan originally was to generate what I would call the capital replacement plan, 10-year capital replacement plan for the city. Consider it to be the capital improvement plan like Public Works, except for all technology equipment. We want to include as many things as possible that plug into the wall. In some cases, we include door access control, video. I think those are over in Public Works and well maintained at the city, so they're not included here. But we included everything else. A typical computer replacement plan is like PCs and laptops, but we want to make sure that all the equipment's included. We added a couple other goals to this as we worked through this. We wanted to align our investments to meet the city's goals. We wanted to understand costs associated with application improvement, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. And then we really wanted to show you what an annual set-aside would look like, so we could reduce surprises when we needed big capital improvement expenditures. Okay, so I'm going to review some more benchmarks here. Oh, I got another methodology thing. Roll forward, please, Scott. What we did is we collected all IT expenditures from all departments. Not everything is in the IT budget. Some technology expenses are in other departments. We put all of that together: licenses, maintenance, operations, and support costs. We identified some strategic gaps in funding, or gaps in work that needed to be done, and included those into the plan. And then we developed a 10-year capital replacement plan. And we have some other benchmarks here too. There's a consolidated budget. And the next slide. This is the current year budget. If you include all technology, salary, wages, total IT budget comes to $5,307,000 and change. Staff have been using a budget increase average of 5% per year to cover increases in licenses and software maintenance costs. That serves staff well, and actually is lower than the number I typically use. But if it works for you, go with it.
Can I stop you a minute?
Sure.
Your maintenance and operations, can you give me the reason why 2024, 25 is at 1341 and you've reduced it this year, 2025 to 26? Is there a reason why there was that spike and you think it's going to be lower this year?
Do you know why that is, Scott?
It would be professional services.
Oh, okay. That's a reduction in professional services costs, which are flexible by years.
Another example is implementing the telephone system, two-factor authentication, et cetera.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? All righty. Next slide. We want to talk a little bit about strategic gaps in IT investment. The capital equipment set aside is really a best practice in technology. We use it for all different types of government agencies, and that's to level out the expenses for IT equipment and prevent surprises and large capital outlays that have to come out of this year's operating budget. One of the things we looked at is, in the past, when the city has implemented a new application, like we just talked about ERP, or the business license permitting application, it's been implemented and left in place with no improvement plan until the next implementation is required. So essentially the software is just used in its current state for the next 10 to 15 years without considering whether business processes are changed or requirements of residents have changed. What we wanted to do is add in at every 5 years, an evaluation of software to make sure it still meets your needs and see what improvements in business processes can be implemented and how we can better serve residents. We also included several other cybersecurity related items. These really aren't hard tools. Scott and the IT team has done a good job implementing the tool set. But what they are is policies and procedures, planning for disasters, planning for cybersecurity incidents, and business continuity. And then testing those plans to make sure that they're fully functional. And then some of the things related to BACASEC. Technical difficulties. Implementing IT governance model to help the city and the departments prioritize technology initiatives going forward. So the departments had a little bit of a say in what improvements each group needed and what the priority of those were.
Who implements your cybersecurity improvements? Is that you or is that one of your helpers?
That is myself.
That's yourself. Isn't that kind of like a constant job in itself, just by itself?
Anymore, as the threats kind of grow and become more and more prevalent, yes.
Yeah. I mean, last week, I had a client that had 2 different threats in the same week that both required investigation, one of which was a fraud item and one of which was a phishing item.
Have we had
It's
any
constant.
threats recently?
Yes.
And you've been able to handle all of them, or do you have to escalate it to?
We do. Eventually, if it's something where it's a fraud, we generally would get finance involved or PD. So, and we do have had some of those in recent months. So, yes.
Alrighty. Next slide, please.
Are you doing real-time backups right now, or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the backups are both on-premise
Are
and
both what?
cloud-based.
Are-
On-premise and
Okay.
cloud-based.
Okay.
And then
And also from the cloud, you're doing backups
Yeah.
to the cloud?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so the primary approach for capital replacement planning used our best practices replacement planning, which is the table on the right, and it has recommended replacement cycle for equipment. And as we talk about, the need to replace equipment on a regular basis, things start to fail, and pretty soon you can't get patches and cybersecurity updates and all those kinds of things. As a matter of fact, this is such a serious issue that the latest requirements from the FBI require all systems to be supported in one way or another. Either you have to have a maintenance contract or you have to have the ability to support it through spare parts and a vendor contract. So what we did is we built a 10-year replacement plan. Part of the reason we did that is because the dispatch systems replaced at 10 years, and we wanted to include those costs. That's a major cost item in the plan. And then we reviewed all the budgets, and we included ongoing maintenance costs. Next slide. This kind of not readable by the audience here. This is one page from the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet had about 75 different initiatives on it. As you can see, there's some ongoing costs that are annual. There are some one-time costs for replacement parts. And in fiscal year 30-31, there's a $1.3 million item and an $800,000 item. And what we want to do is be able to plan on an annual basis to accumulate funding so that when those hit, we're not caught needing $2 million out of the general fund to pay for those. It's just one sample page.
How many computers do you have that are sitting out in the hallway and in your office that need to be installed?
83.
83?
Yes.
How long we had them?
We've had those for at least 2 months.
That's it, just 2 months?
Yeah.
So by the time we put them in, they'll be obsolete?
My hope is not. So, like I said, the hope is still to be able to push those out by November.
Okay.
End of November.
By November?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this month.
What do you do? How do you, on your hard drives, do you have a program that mirrors everything?
When it comes to desktops?
Yeah.
Desktops we do not back up. What we do is the files that are on those generally exist in folders that are Microsoft.
Okay, so you have everything at the server level then?
Yes. So what happens is those folders are actually synced up with Microsoft 365, so those are automatically moved to the cloud.
Okay.
That way, in the event you were to log into another computer, those files are available to you.
Okay.
And those get backed up as well. They go from, there's also a backup that's on the cloud that does a cloud-to-cloud
Well, what's your
backup.
procedure for installing all the applications that need to go on each computer? How do you mirror them?
So the way that we mirror those is through a tool called Microsoft SCCM.
Okay.
And we lay down one operating system on every machine that's the same. And then depending upon the department, they have specific packages, the software for those
Okay.
departments. And those lay down as individual blocks on top of that operating system.
Okay, and then their files are just on the, in the cloud anyway? so-
Correct,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Life years, most times I'm a little shocked at the firewall replacement at 7. So I'm assuming that it would, if we needed to replace a firewall for whatever reason, I mean, because I don't know what's going to happen next week, let alone on my computer in 3 years. So that's an ongoing review so that we do it maybe in 5 years instead of 7?
The reason it's 7 years is that's the typical life of a firewall before the vendors stop supporting all the software features on it. And that's what's really important is the threat prevention and the advanced detection mechanisms. So that's a typical life from the time you purchase to the time the vendor stops supporting, and they're always adding things to that. And anymore, the firewall cost is a minimal piece compared to all this software stuff.
And plus the maintenance agreements always give you the firmware upgrades and
Correct.
so on, so.
Yeah, you have to do that.
Because replacement in the public sector is 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, and we had a long discussion at another meeting, the difference between public sector and private sector. We do make things last longer. It just is the nature of the public sector. What we're really trying to do is maximize the life of equipment, and that's really what your residents want for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely, but
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we're good. 7 years is a long time.
Yeah, good stewards. Yeah, that works. We work with lots of agencies, obviously, and so the 7 years is through experience. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, so, one of the things, Scott, one of the things you're doing is upgrading to Windows 11 too with those computers?
Yes.
And that does take time.
Yes.
That's not a fast process. There's no way to do that quickly. Yeah. Okay, so the total 10-year capital replacement cost based on the spreadsheet was just a touch over $10 million, which gives you an annual need for a set-aside of about $1 million a year.
$1 million, yeah.
Yeah. And these are best practice investments. What we did is we added some additional systems that we're seeing similar agencies procuring. AI tools, staff are actually looking at a couple different AI tools now. Cybersecurity management tools. The city doesn't have a construction management system. Lots of your peers use construction management tool systems. And then the electronic document management upgrade and social media archiving are another couple items. Okay, next slide. We also did some of our staffing benchmarks.
That's where we lack.
Yes, that's exactly to your point, Councilmember Mayles. These are comparison with 43 different agencies, most of the 43 understaffed to start with. All 4 metrics point to a staffing deficit. Some case in the computer devices per IT staff of about 2 to 1. Servers per IT staff is 3 to 1. So we're starting from a place where we've got a very small team, and I'll show you a comparison slide here in a second, doing a lot of work, and it takes a long time to get things done sometimes. Next slide. What we're gonna do here is compare the Hammett staff of 4 to other cities of similar size that are also full service. Go forward. This is the city of Indio, similar size city, full service, police, fire, total of 9 FTE and IT. Next is Whittier in eastern LA County.
That's my hometown.
There you go. Full service, police and fire, a total of 10 FTE in IT. Another is Southgate. They're South LA County, Similar size again, police, no fire. Really, they actually started with a staff of 4. When we did the technology master plan, the recommended is 6.5 FTE. So I can summarize that in the following slide. Shows you the population. You can see they're all very close to your population. Total IT staff, Hemet's the lowest of all.
Wow.
Our long-term staffing recommendation would be a total IT staff of 7, 1 in GIS. We talked about the deficit of IT support and the need to really work with the business units to continually improve the use of application software. The way I think about it is application software, the city spends millions of dollars on these tools, and to not spend a little bit more money to help the departments improve how they use these tools over time is just, letting it sit fallow. It's like collecting no interest on anything. And then, as you mentioned, council member, Scott does all the cybersecurity updates. He's both IT leader and systems engineer, and he has a third party helping him. But,
Scott, how many hours do you work at home?
I work usually pretty much every day, so about 7 days a week. When I go home on the weekdays, it's usually about 4 hours in addition. On the weekends, it's full-time. So it's usually from 8 to 10 or hours on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, I figured that. I know the job, so, yeah.
Okay. You're a better salesman than I am. Recommended 5-year staffing plan is as follows. Here again is the current staffing size. Go to the next slide. What we really want to do is get Scott some relief in year 1, add a systems engineer to the team. A lot of the infrastructure is currently supported by a third party, as I said, and then really someone to help with the cybersecurity gaps that were identified, and the maintenance of all the cybersecurity tools. Adding all those tools over the last couple of years does add operational cost. Because we got threat alerts, some of them are valid, some of them aren't. All of them has to be investigated. So what we really want to do is get Scott some relief in year 1. Next slide. We'd like to recommend a business systems analyst in year 2, someone to start helping the departments with application improvements. It's a good time to do that after ERP and the permitting system have been implemented. It's always good to let staff use them for a little bit to get familiar with them, so you're actually getting real requests and not. I just don't like this. It doesn't work. It worked a different way before.
Is your company the one that converted the systems?
No, we did not.
You did not?
Yeah. But really prefer waiting 6 months and then adding this position, so be right after budget you could start looking. And then next slide, please. And then years 4 or 5, we recommend adding a second business analyst, primarily dedicated to public safety, to help the public safety folks, while another one focuses on financials, community development, those kinds of things. This isn't terribly cheap, so the next slide next slide shows the metrics again. I was jumping ahead. So next slide shows how that changes the metrics. Gets you really within the range of the budget on the computers per IT staff. Servers per IT staff is still a little off, but makes a much more balanced picture. We have a lot of clients that end up with some of the metrics are positive in their favor and some are negative. That's why these are all individual statistics and you look at them as a group. But it really will make a difference in the performance of the team and the systems for the city. Next slide. It's a summary of the current staffing costs, and these figures come from staff as a part of the comp and class study, and total cost for each year, and it shows you where we are today, and then total cost going forward over 5 years. And that concludes our presentation for tonight.
Well, my recommendation would be to get get you a system engineer right away, at least by January, February. If we lose, if we get hacked and locked out of our systems, it can cost us millions of dollars. I think hiring one person January, February may cost us, a couple $100,000 a year or something. It's important to make sure we're staffed properly, especially for computer systems. Look what we have now in the hallway, all these 83 computers that'll probably be obsolete by the time they get installed. And, we can't function that way as a city, because if we lose our system due to, somebody getting in because you're tired and you've worked 80 hours a day, and we just decided not to hire anybody to help you out, it's going to be our fault just as much as your fault. So we need to get staffing up to par, get you someone in there, and then work on the other three, I believe, individuals, business systems analyst and network administrator or help tech. You need help there, you really do. And I've seen it, overworked IT directors. Someone comes and says, hey, work for my firm, you don't have to work as hard, I'll get you whoever you need, and boom, you're gone. So I think one of our priorities is to get you help right away. It's going to cost, but it's better than having to pay for it by losing systems. Because a couple $100,000 will turn into millions.
Looks like Linda has a comment.
First a question, well, thank you for the presentation.
Very good.
This was something we looked at years ago when I first got on council and discovered we couldn't afford it.
Yeah,
So
there is that.
it
We
always
can't
comes
afford to
around.
lose our systems either.
Do we currently have an IT annual replacement fund like we do for vehicles and other equipment?
I'll have our administrative services director address that, but the short answer is yes, we're doing pretty well, but we have added some new equipment and investments in the last couple of years, and that's going to continue to challenge the budget.
We do have an equipment replacement program. IT does have a small amount in there. We don't have like a ongoing equipment replacement plan. Like this 10-year plan would actually set us in a good position to where we would be setting aside money for future years. We really don't have anything set in place at this point in time.
Okay.
And we use a cost allocation methodology. You may want to address that a little bit too.
There is a cost. The way that we fund IT is through cost allocation plan, where all the departments get charged out for the IT's
internal
budget.
services
Yes,
fund that we
yes.
have argued about every
Yes.
year since I've been on council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is how it's funded. It's funded through other departments. So that's how the internal services actually serve to the city.
So question on this best practices, the recommendation here of setting aside an annual $1 million amount. Would that be over and above the internal services charges that everybody gets charged, or would it be added
it would
into
be
that
above and
aggregate?
beyond. It would be above and beyond.
Above and beyond.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's something we definitely need to look at come budget season in January. And then the 10-year total for new and improved systems, that's over and above the $1 million a year set aside for
The 10 million?
well, down, 10-year total for new and
Okay.
improved systems is 4.5 million.
It is included.
So that would be in addition to the set aside of $1 million a year for replacement.
No, it's included.
Included in there,
Mhm.
okay, alrighty. It's definitely good information. But currently, there was a point in here where you said currently we have third party doing a lot of the stuff that our four magicians can't do, and some of the support. So have we looked at cost comparison on third party versus employees?
I can answer that. Employees actually are almost always less expensive than third-party companies. The way firms work, firms pay less in benefits typically than municipalities do. and that's a part of the profit, but then most firms make more profit than that difference.
And with
And
third
they're-
parties, you're having to wait, you're having to deal with
Yeah.
people that maybe don't know systems as well as they should know, and they come in and they make things worse, so.
Well, but there's also the trade-off on that. With employees, you've got to keep sending them to training. So, I mean, there's a cost on either one of them. I'm just really curious if study has been done on an actual cost comparison in the long run. Is it, which way does it go? Employees, because there's a lot of cost and overhead for employees and CalPERS and all of that other
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah, we've done those studies and presented them in various forums, and it's almost invariably less expensive to hire employees for ongoing work. It's better to hire third parties when you need subject matter experts for a specific project, like a telephone system replacement. You don't have that expertise in-house. It's better to hire third parties when you need expertise, a small amount of expertise over time. There are now virtual cybersecurity officers that you can hire on a part-time basis. So there are places where it is better to hire third parties, but the deficit you folks are experiencing is actually an ongoing work. It's just in the kind of the constant flow of work and ongoing projects. And you're better off funding that directly through employees.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Those are my comments.
I have a quick question with that. Third party, how much are we paying in a quarter? Do you know?
It depends. Right now, when we're doing third-party work, that's primarily for the new systems we just brought on. Some of the networking, the telephone system and things like that. Right now, we're paying, I'd be almost guessing, but I want to say that it was close in roughly to about $35,000. And it was only for a set 6 months. And it was trying to give staff that currently is going to be taking that equipment over a chance to kind of get caught up a little bit and understanding it a little bit more and then transition off of that. Obviously, the more and more technology that we wind up rolling out, that kind of almost forces our hand to extend some of those things. That's where we want to get away from.
Agreed. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
And one more question. Do we have a redundancy built into our internet at all? Do we have two different providers?
We have three.
Three,
So,
good.
the police department currently only has two, but our city hall, we have three. We're looking to get the police department on as well as three. We are going to be doing some work here next week and moving that to a technology called SD-WAN. So that way it will actually look and inspect the utilization of the connection and see if there is problems, not only just an outage, but if it's not performing as well as it should. If we're getting reduced speeds and things like that, it will then click over automatically. So it's taking advantage of some of the technologies that are built into that hardware to do that for us.
Do they use AI now for your internet connections?
No.
No, okay.
No. So, but that is similar to an AI,
Yeah.
but it's called SD-WAN. So it's just that technology that's built into the firewall. So next generation firewall is what they call it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, Tom, Scott. Thank you, Tiffany. And it's pretty thorough, and we will see what we can do for you. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we will receive and file the report. We will now move on to City Council and staff reports. Councilmember Clark.
Been busy. Okay. October 27th, I went to Alessandro High for a tour because I had been invited on the Focus Committee, which came a little later. Let's see, October 30th, investment quarterly meeting with the city investment. We're very healthy and growth is very conservative. November 1st, girls empowerment at Hemet Fire Department. I gotta say, I need to get Sam something special because she totally went out of her way, just a little goodie or something. She really rocked. Very dedicated, and some of the stuff she did, awesome. Let's see. Valley-wide Gala was that night. Oh my gosh, Saboba did an awesome job, and all of the different businesses that provided food there. Then WRCOG, we had a meeting on November 3rd. November 4th was my Alessandro focus meeting. That was for their designation as a exemplary school. It was just, they are doing so much over there. Went to the Student of the Month for y'all over there, and that was very heartwarming. Anytime you don't want to go, Mayor or Mayor Pro Tem, you let me know. Then we had our State of the City for Hemet, and that was a classy affair, and I've got to say, Mayor Peterson, you really did a good job, and you were very, very classy. November 7th was Menifee State of the City. That was very informational, came back with a lot of information. I've been dealing with the business having code issues. I've got a citizen with some engineering concerns with the building department. A citizen left a message on the music mural. Citizen has a noise complaint that Chief Ariano is working on very diligently with code. Citizen work with weed abatement. That's coming soon. A citizen has a vacant building owner that's not securing, and lots of transient dump camping. And another citizen had a neighbor abusing the ADUs, no permits, and so I directed him to go somewhere. So, and I want to put a plug in because in January I want to do a district public town hall meeting. I would like to have police there. I would like Ben there. I would like the city manager and planning also to go. But I have a question that I want answered so we don't go off in different tangents. But what educational, public safety, new business, or recreational changes or additions would you like to see? And that's specifically for District 1, although anybody is invited. But my folks in the past that I've been sitting up here with y'all, there isn't a whole lot of voices coming out of District 1. They're very quiet, hardworking folks. And so I want to kind of pull them out of their shell and see what they want. So I'm looking for that, and I'll be looking forward to having the police chief and everybody else. Ben will give us the hurrah we need. So thank you. That's it.
Councilmember Mills.
Okay. Over the last 2 weeks, I've had the privilege of representing our city on a full slate of community, regional, and veterans-focused events. On November 3rd, I attended the Planet Fitness ribbon cutting in Page Plaza. Their facility is now open 24/7, and it's great to see new business investing in Hemet. On November 4th, I was invited by Councilmember Phil Ayala of San Jacinto to the Veterans Voices and Legacies of Service. And that was at San Jacinto Leadership Academy, and I was impressed with that academy. They had them out there, they were doing drills. The principal there is a Army veteran of 20 years, and boy, he was amazing. Sounded like a Marine, to be honest with you, but he was good. November, okay, and after that I left for a quality of life meeting with our city manager and the mayor, continuing our work on neighborhood improvements and city services. November 6th, I attended the San Jacinto Hemet quarterly county meeting, followed by our own Hemet State of the City, where we showcase the progress we're making across public safety, infrastructure, and economic development, and it was a well-hosted event. On November 7th, I attended the Menifee State of the City, strengthening our regional partnerships and keeping Hemet connected to what's happening across the valley. On November 8th, I joined volunteers in placing 1,776 American flags at Gibble Park for our Veterans Day Field of Honor, a powerful sight and strong reminder of what service truly means. On November 10th, I met with our city manager for agenda review, and later that day, I had the honor of attending the Hemet Police Department's Marine Corps birthday cutting ceremony, our cake cutting ceremony. As the oldest Marine present, I was blessed to cut the first slice as well as celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps with our Hemet Police. And then on November 11th, I attended our City of Hemet Veterans Day ceremony at Gibble Park with two outstanding speakers, Michael Bailey from Riverside County Veterans Services and Major Antonio Williams, Senior Marine Instructor at Tockwitz High School's MCJROTC. And later that day, I attended the San Jacinto Veteran Ceremony at the Estudio Mansion, standing alongside our Valley partners to honor those who served. We're moving Hemet forward with teamwork, transparency, and relentless focus on improving the quality of life for our residents. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Krupa.
Okay. Well, I've attended everything that they did, so I'm not going to go there. It is busy. So Monday, we had California League of Cities meeting, a general meeting for Riverside County over in Palm Springs. The mayor and I were there, and we installed our new president for the Riverside Division, and that is Colleen Wallace, who is a council member from the city of Banning. And we had election of the executive committee, and I was reelected to another term on that. Riverside Transit Agency meeting last week came up with just some new programs that they are instituting, and they will be taking delivery of 5 hydrogen cell fueled buses in mid-26. They are redoing their parking lot and expanding their parking facilities here at their Hemet station or Hemet facility, because they are going to be expanding the maintenance and the fleet to hopefully bring Dial-A-Ride in-house instead of having it contracted, which will probably add about 200 or 300 more jobs out at RTA and Hemet. They have their Veterans Ride Free, which of course was Veterans Day was yesterday?
Yep.
Yes, okay. And they also continuing the Students Ride Free till the end of fiscal 26 which will be the end of June in 2026. The day of the State of the City for Hemet, I was at a regional council meeting for the Southern California Association of Governments in LA. And the guest speaker we had that day was this takes me a while to get his name out, Tok Amashakin. And he is the CEO of California Transportation Commission in Sacramento. He was appointed by Governor Newsom a couple years ago. And he was talking about different funding awards that were going out and how Riverside County and the rest of Southern California compete in getting these awards, the state transportation block grant funds, and the CMAQ, which is Climate Mitigated Air Quality Awards. And we do pretty well. We submitted for Riverside County 17 projects. 11 of them were approved. And the really good news about it is, well, we didn't get any of the 11 for Hemet. The first number 1 on the contingency list is the Hemet East Menlo Avenue project. So if any of these others fall out of rotation, we will be receiving funding for that. The bad news connected with that is that the process goes through what used to come to our county agencies of Riverside County Transportation Commission to award these things now has to go through SCAG, which is another layer of bureaucracy, which of course they have to cover their overhead and their staffing, which reduces the amount of money that then comes down to the agencies like us that really need it. We had an RCTC meeting this morning and had updates on several things, and one of them was a receive and file on the 2019 to 2029 program work for all funding, especially Measure A funds, through RCTC. And the takeaway from that is that in that 2019 program, initially, Mid-County Parkway and the realignment of Highway 79 were listed down in Category 5, which means no funding, no nothing. They're too expensive. We don't have the funding. We're not going to touch it. Through a lot of conversation and work on this, Mid-County Parkway, Phase 2, which is from Ryder to Briggs, or not to Warren, is now in the funding process and going to be started hopefully very soon. It's supposed to be completed in 26. We'll see if that happens. But also the Mid-County, or the Highway 79 has been moved into the funding group. So in a short time, we have reallocated where the funds are going to go, but it's taken a lot of pressure from city staff and conversation and with the community and with RCTC that we're tired of being ignored in our little valley. We are growing, we have a lot of people, and we also need the infrastructure. So that was the good news. We're getting back on track. So, and you can do the rest of them.
Okay. Linda and I are on a couple of these together, so she's going to give me, and I'm going to ask her for some information on the first one. So Ramona Bowl, they have the Bertland Ranch up there, and it's going to be on November 29th, and it's a great entertainment night. You can buy gifts for Christmas. It's going to be from 5 to 9 p.m., and they're going to have food trucks and music, a full bar, local vendors, and a petting zoo. And I heard they're going to collect food for the pantry. Is that correct? Have you heard that?
Probably.
Okay, I think I saw a video that they were saying that they were going to collect things for the pantry, which is now right behind us here at Simpson Center. So they're not fully open yet, but they will be soon to serve our community again. I just want to add a little bit on the homeless outreach meeting that we went to. All the agencies are working together, and we have had some good success recently. They said that the San Jacinto River Bottom has gone from like 33 encampments to just 3 now. And there's a company that's helping us called Impact, and they're working with Riverside County on this grant that we received. And they are going over to San Jacinto Inn 3 days a week. And they're doing outreach over there, and they're getting, to know the people that are on the streets and gaining their trust. And they've had some really good success in placing people. And they have already placed some people in our city through that program. And then this is really good news. So the police department has a detachment called ARROW, and it stands for the Active Engagement Response and Outreach Team. Right now, we have 4 people on that team, and we are training 4 more people. And by the end of this month, we are going to have 8 people, 2 different teams, and sometimes they will overlap even. And they will be out assisting our homeless and helping them to find resources and find them shelter and hopefully, eventually get into a real home situation. So thank you, Police Department, for what you guys are doing. It's really important. Already I know that they have had success And we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And also, the Navigation Center should open up in the first quarter of this coming year. And they can house 24 people up to 90 days. So they can get benefits and documents and everything, that they can find some permanent housing. So we're working on that very diligently. The Caltrans meeting we just had, and some of the discussion topics was the synchronization of Florida Avenue traffic signals. And we were told by Caltrans it's mostly during rush hour. And I guess basically we just have to live with it for right now, right? So they're not saying of anything that they can help us with right now, but you know, it gets bogged down during certain hours of the day. So it was reported that there were San Jacinto Street potholes developing, and they're going to go out and check those, so that's good. And I had a concern about the bike lanes on Florida Avenue. I'm like, is that really safe? And I don't know, I guess it's been like that for a while, but I just recently noticed, I think they repainted them and they're more vivid now. Yeah, and they're bigger now, and they said that that's what they can do. You know, some of our streets have enough room for an alley on the side, and where they don't, they just make it in the regular stream of traffic. And I'm just hoping our motorists look out for the bicyclists, because they're going to be in those lanes. So there's a couple other little concerns that they had. One thing that we wanted was them to explain why there was a left turn lane over on Florida around Kirby, because that's where it's really busy with the shopping center and in and out and everything. And we were saying, doesn't it make more sense to go this way than the other way? And they said, no, they couldn't do it that way. So for now, the left turn lane will stay. And I don't think it gets used that much, so it's too bad we can't put something else in there that's better. So the Veterans Day ceremony yesterday, I think it went very well, and we did honor Larry Lee Rudnick, and we put his name on the memorial under the Vietnam conflict. So his family was there, and we had an unveiling that was really nice in a program. So Arts and Culture, we met this last week, and we are still looking for different grants that we can use to beautify our city, and we are working with a company whereby we want to advertise what's going on in the city. We want one central location that everybody can go to know what activities and things that they can go to. So that would be a really big thing for our city, for our residents, and to bring in more tourism too even. So, and the Hemet Stock Farm, we are beginning talks on that with various parties, and we've got some ideas. And you know, what we want to do there is do some housing development, but we also want to preserve the historic buildings and the grandstand there. And we just have to figure out a good fix for everybody on that. So it works for the developer, so it works for the city. So we are working on that. And a shout out to the fire department. I can't believe nobody said this so far. The Girls Empowerment Camp was in between our last meeting. A couple of us were over there for the kickoff that morning, and it's a great program. You know, it's well organized, and they learn teamwork, they learn medical safety, they learn firefighting, and it's a weekend. And I'm sure, I didn't get to go over there on Sunday towards the evening, but I'm sure they had a great time and learned a lot. So thank you, Chief Webb, and your department for doing that. That's great. So, and I just want to say publicly, thank you to all the City of Hemet staff from all departments. The state of the city, I think everybody really enjoyed it this year. I think it was well presented. We got many comments from other cities that were there, and everybody from the littlest person on up to the city manager did a great job in organizing that, and we were really, really happy the way that turned out. So thank you, City Manager.
Well, thank you, Mayor. We had a Hemet Youth Council meeting on Monday. Councilmember Lodge attended. The youth had an opportunity to tour the library, and coincidentally, the city's drone was living on the back porch, so we had a chance. They had a chance to see that in action and learn a lot more about that. That was a fun experience for them, but they had a great time touring the library. They have finalized a youth survey that we will be working on getting out to the community. And then they have a big idea for a spring music festival. So that's something that we will continue to work on. But the idea is there, and it will be interesting to see how that develops. Just a plug for our Christmas parade, which is going to be on December 6th. There's going to be a very large event in the park that's going to be larger than it has been before. I think we're up to about 85 vendors. So this is going to be Christmas in the park following the parade. We have a city update newsletter that will go out later this week digitally. You can sign up for those on the city website at hemetca.gov. And finally, we are dark in the second half of November, so our next council meeting is going to be December 9th.
Thank you, City Manager. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned, as the City Manager said, to December 9th. Thank you for joining us tonight.